Hello parents. Before we start our next video on Adventures in Art, I just wanted to talk to you very quickly and tell you a quick story. When my boys were quite young, I remember that my sister took them for the day and she helped them bake some brownies. She called me on the phone and she said, "Do you realize your boys have never cracked an egg?" And of course I said, "Well, yes, I know they've never cracked an egg. I've never let them crack an egg." And it didn't dawn on me until then that the only reason I didn't let them crack an egg was because I was afraid of the mess, not because they were too young. One of the reasons I love books like Too Much Glue and Art Supplies is they talk about expressing art just joyfully and that it's okay to get a little messy. And sometimes it's tempting to avoid mess, but sometimes it's important to make some messes too. And so as we finish up Adventures in Art, I hope that you will help your children express art with abandon, that they can enjoy drawing, singing, and dancing, and build up that confidence that will help them tackle those years when they discover things like embarrassment and self-consciousness. So please enjoy the last installment of Adventures in Art with your child, and I hope you break some eggs. Thank you. Hello friends, this is Miss Deanna from the Bell Road branch of the Newburgh-Chandler Public Library. And this is our final chapter in Adventures in Art. If you go back to the first video and you look at the board behind me, you'll see that it was almost blank. And now we have so much there because we have done so much together. We started with lines and we learned about Mondrian and how he used lines. And then we took a ribbon and we learned how we can make lines with the ribbon. Wavy lines, straight lines, spiral lines. And then we moved on to colors and we talked about Vincent van Gogh and how he used cool and hot colors in his pictures. And we managed to make some artwork by using flowers and leaves from our garden to stain and color in our picture. Then we moved on to shapes and we learned about an artist called Henri Matisse. And we learned that shapes are not too hard to draw if we just remember that they're just corners and lines that we put together. And then finally last week we learned that patterns are everywhere, including in art, and there's a very special pattern called a tessellation, and our artist M.C. Escher is very good at that. All right, well, all of this reminds me of a story I found in our library. And that story is based on the book Look, Look, Look by Nancy Elizabeth Wallace. Once upon a time, there were 3 mice, a papa, a mama, and a baby. And they lived in a big house with some big people. One day, while the big people were out, they heard a clunk, clunk. Ooh, that meant the mail was here. So they ran to go check and see what was in the big people's mail. They found a postcard, and on the postcard there was a painting of a beautiful lady. "Look," said Papa. "Look," said Mama. "Look," said Baby. And then Baby had the fabulous idea of making some square frames to help them look at the picture more closely. "What do you see?" "Well, I see a face," said Baby. "Well, I see a hand. In fact, I see 2 hands," said Papa. "Well, I see some beautiful jewels," said Mama. "But wait," said Mama, "I think I see something else." I see a pattern here. Papa said, you're right. I see a pattern here. Well, then baby said, well, look at our own clothes. We have patterns on our clothes, and we have colors too. Wait a second. What colors do you see on this picture? Papa said, well, I see some red, and I see some yellow. And Mama said, well, I see some white. And baby said, well, I see a lot of brown and gold. Do you see any green? No. Do you see any blue? No. Do you see any purple? No, not on this picture. What else do you see? Well, Papa took 3 markers and he said, I think I can see this lady in another way. And he drew a picture. And he made the lady using lines. Do you see the lines on this picture with her necklaces and the outline of her shape? And her face has a heart shape, and the 2 flowers are circles. Well, that gave Mama an idea, and she said, I think I can make this picture another way. And she used shapes. Do you see the shapes in the picture and how Mama created that picture out of shapes? Well, then pretty soon baby had the best idea of all. And baby made a whole new picture and made a lady, but instead of being a lady human, it became a lady mouse. Well, good job, baby. Uh-oh. They heard the big people's car. So they hurried up and they put the postcard back with the rest of the mail so the people would see it, and they ran off back to their hole in the wall. But they listened and they heard the people pick up their mail, and they heard the big people say, look, look, look. Did you like that story? I like that story. That's one of my favorites from the library. And it reminds me that not only how drawings begin with lines and shapes and colors and patterns, but it reminds me that we should take a look in our art box, and we're going to do a project today. Well, actually, I'm going to do a project, and I would like you to tell me when I forget and do something wrong. So first I have some water and some paint. I also have some glue, and I have some paper, a marker, and some scissors. So I'm gonna start by drawing a shape on my yellow piece of paper. I'm just going to draw a big circle today. Okay, I'm done with that. Oh, did I forget something already? Oh my goodness, you're right. I forgot to put the cap on my marker. Well, that's very important because I don't want my marker to dry out any sooner than it's going to. And I want to take it, and I like my black marker. I get to do a lot of good things with my black marker. So I'm going to put my cap on my marker, and I'm going to push it until I hear the click. Listen closely. Did you hear it? Good job. Okay, so now I can go on to my next step, which is cutting out my circle. All right, here we go. always struggle with cutting. Am I doing it wrong again? Oh, you're right. Look at what I'm doing. I'm moving the scissors, and eventually it's going to be pointing me. Well, that doesn't work. I always want the scissors to face away from me, and I want to turn the paper instead of the scissors. You know what, friends? That's making it much easier for me to cut. Okay. Well, I'm going to save my scrap of paper because I learned when I watched the stuff about Matisse that he likes to make things with these scrap papers too. Okay, here we go. I've got my shape and I want to glue it on my paper. So, help me out here. Okay, friends, I'm back with a better glue stick. I bet somebody forgot to put the cap on that glue stick and that's why it dried out and stuck together. But I have my glue stick now. And I want you to help me out. Can you see my glue stick? Do I need this much glue? No, but I have a really big shape to, well, okay. Do I need this much glue? Oh, you know what? I think you're right. I've seen a lot of boys and girls destroy glue sticks by using too much glue. We just need a little bit on our shape. And I am going to put the cap back on that glue. You didn't catch me on that one. Okay, here's my shape. And now I'm going to paint. Just gonna paint one of my favorite things. Ta-da! And I'm all done. So now I can put my stuff away, right? No? I can't put my stuff away? You're right. Before I put my paint back into my art box, I need to clean it out and I need to let both my brush and my palette dry. Friends, I want to remind you that an art box does not need to be anything fancy. It can be just a cardboard box like what I have. It can be a basket. It can be a drawer that you keep in your house for collecting things for art. And if you would like a list like mine of suggestions of things to collect for your art box, you can contact me at the library. Okay, while that's drying, I would like to share with you one last time some of my favorite books from the library. Oh, it's a heavy box this time, guys. So one of my favorites is called Too Much Glue. Now, I just talked to you about not using too much glue. But this is about a young boy who just loves glue. And he puts it all over, even though his teacher keeps telling him, use glue like raindrops, not a puddle. But he goes crazy one day. He gets glue and macaroni and googly eyes all over the table. And then he jumps. Geronimo! And he lands right on the glue, and guess what? He gets stuck. And no matter how much anybody tries to help him, more stuff just keeps getting stuck to him. Well, I'm not going to give away the ending. The other thing that's special about this book is it's one of the books in our library that's an audio book. It will read the story to you. If you are interested in finding books about art, what I want you to remember is the number 700. When you go to the nonfiction section of the library, that's where all the things that have to do with entertainment are. So drawing and singing and sports, everything is in the 700s. And if you go to the Chandler branch, it's in the 700s. And probably if you go to your school library, it's in the 700s. Any library that uses the Dewey Decimal System, is going to have the art books in the 700s. So if you want to learn how to draw Garfield, or if you want to learn how to draw the Angry Birds, or maybe just faces, maybe you don't like drawing at all. Maybe you'd like to learn how to make things out of paper, or you want to learn how to knit or crochet. Maybe that's not for you either. Maybe you'd like to make things out of wood, or Legos, or origami. All these wonderful books you will find in the 700s. And so I hope you will browse and explore the 700s, and you can always ask for help if you're looking for something specific. Well, friends, the next time we get together, we're going to go on a whole new adventure. We've told some stories, we've done some adventures in art, so who knows what we'll do next, but I hope you'll join me and see. And until then, we wave goodbye like this, we wave goodbye like this, we clap our hands and stomp our feet, we wave goodbye like this. Bye for now.